Okay, guys, Chris there. Anybody want to go first?
Chris, how's it going?
How are you?
Good. Listen, obviously new structure and a new tournament. How exciting is it, and how confident can you be that this tournament will offer what arguably the Pro 14 didn't, which was really competitive scores on a weekly basis?
Yeah, pretty excited about it. I mean, the addition of the 4 South African teams is something we've never seen before. This quality of team. So that's really exciting. I'm sure it's exciting for the fans as well. The fact that it's now available to more people as well with regards to the broadcasting is brilliant. Also the fact that it's a shorter season, the league season, there's less games involved, means every game is really, really important. So it just, I suppose for us, it highlights the importance of getting off to a good start. We've a couple of South African teams straight off the bat and a couple of home games as well, which is brilliant because hopefully we'll have some fans back in Thomond Park as well. But you know, we're really eyeing up a good start to this season because it's going to be so important, I think.
Hi, Chris. Looking at the back end of last season, you got some good form together. Coming into this season now, like you saw Tyburn and Connor and Damien played really well in South Africa. You've got Joey at the start of the season, straight off the bat. You've got Simon Gibo coming back in. What's the mood around camp like? Do you feel like you're improving and you've got a really good chance on both fronts this season?
Yeah, big time. No, the belief it really is there from a personal point of view, but also I think that sentiment is shared within the group down in Munster. There's an unbelievable buzz around the place, and we have such a good squad. We've got great coaches. I feel like last season we were really competitive right at the end. Again, we got to a final and lost to Leinster and lost to Toulouse, who ended up winning the Champions Cup. I think we're just a step away from clicking and competing again, like really competing. And I think the mood down there is fantastic with the quality of players we have coming back from Lions squads, South African squads. Bringing in Zeebs has brought in a real freshness to the group. And we have a lot of young players who are hungry and competitive. And it's a great blend, I think.
Cheers. Thanks.
Hi, Chris. Can I just ask you about how Simon Zebo is settling in? Because Johan was saying last week he hit the ground running pretty quickly when he got back to training. What it's been like having him back at the club again?
Yeah, I think his first week down there was probably a bit of a shock in that I remember meeting him in the corridor whenever the Irish boys were still away, the Lions were still away. I was in rehabbing, and he didn't know where to look because he probably didn't know any of the lads very well. There was a huge young group in training with him, and he probably got shocked in that he needed to get to know people again. He didn't know that many until the Irish guys came back again. So that would have been a shock to him, but he settled in so quickly, as you'd expect. He's just a great character to have around. You get to know anyone very quickly. He's outgoing. He can relate to a lot of the young fellas despite the age gap difference. So he's brilliant to have around. And he's coming back from a couple of years of different rugby where he's learned a lot. He was really competitive there. He had a great try scoring record. So he's in form, and personally really excited to take the field with him.
Hi, Chris. Sinead here in Virgin Media News. You mentioned there all the positivity around Munster. But why can it be different this year in terms of, finally winning that trophy? Why are you getting that sense, or are you getting that sense?
Look, I think losing the final last year to Leinster was really disappointing at the time. Really disappointing, because we had lost them a couple of times consecutively in the same season. But we came away from that game realizing that we didn't fire a shot. We didn't put our hand up. We shouldn't have been competing with them because we didn't perform anywhere close to our best. And I think that we learned later on that when we beat them at a later stage that we deserve to be competing with them. We deserve to be really challenging the best teams in Europe, and they are one of the best teams in Europe. The record says that. So I think we're just really close. And I don't know if we need to change very much. We just need to keep believing in what we're doing. We have huge belief in what we're doing, but we had a really successful season last year if you look at it. And I think we're just really close. We have a few new faces who are going to add a lot as well, and a few young fellas who went away and got international experience over the summer. And those guys are well and truly embedded in the squad, and they're adding so much. They're so much different. Their mindsets are so much different to some of the older fellas, and I think we can learn a lot from each other.
I suppose we're still waiting to see kind of the full Stephen Larkham influence. Are we going to see more of that, you feel, this year?
I think we're seeing it. I don't know if I'd expect to see a huge amount different. What we want to play is a winning brand of rugby, and we are doing that. We just need to do that more consistently. We had a great record last year. We had a great away record. We lost 2 games away last season. He's having a huge effect on the way we're playing. I think personally in training, we see it in terms of the skill level of players. He is definitely having a huge impact on us as individuals, whether you see it or not. In us, we see it and we believe it. So I think there's not a lot that we need to change there. That's what we're doing is going to work, and it's going to pay off, and we have a huge amount of belief in it.
Chris.
Hi Chris, Katie here from Wales Online. Hope you're well. I just wanted to ask, which players in Wales are you least looking forward to coming up against, and why? And also, which region do you think is going to test you the hardest?
Good question. Yeah, look, I think personally, Munster, we've always had a huge battle with Cardiff. Cardiff, our team, who they can play great brand of rugby, and when you get them on that 4G pitch over there, they're really, really dangerous. So we've always struggled going away to Cardiff, and they're a great team. Even when they came to Thomond Park last year, they beat us actually in Thomond Park last year. I think they put us under huge amounts of pressure. And as a centre, they've got a great centre pairing. And it's always great to pitch yourself against the best. So those 2 guys are great for me. Those are the 2 guys that I would love to play against soon.
And you mean Hallaholo, and which particular centre partnership were you referring to?
Ray Leo.
Lovely. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Chris, after a year of playing and training every day alongside someone like Damien Delendi, how much did you learn from him over the course of last season?
A huge amount. A huge amount. He's top class, obviously. We all know that. But I've said it before, whenever people have asked me about him, he just has this ability to buy himself time, and I think all the best players in the world do it. Even if I look at like Johnny Sexton, Joey Carbery, the 10s in particular, who are best in the world, they buy themselves time on the ball and create space for others. But Damien often looks like he's cruising around at 60%, and buying himself time, seeing space really well. And then whenever it comes to being physically combative, he can just turn it on with a switch. He can be cruising around, looking around him, seeing space, and then as he realizes that he needs to bar up for contact, he's able to change and flick a switch and become really, really aggressive and really physical. He's got great footwork. He's got it all. He really has it all. And if I can, I suppose a lot more to learn from this season, but if I can not try and imitate, but if I can try and see space the way that he does and buy himself the time to do that, then maybe that's something that I can continue to work on, something that I am working on.
And do you think you have picked up any of those little tips from him?
Yeah, definitely. Not just from him, but even other players in our group, but definitely trying to buy yourself time, not put yourself under pressure so that you can execute skills is a huge thing as a centre, and it's becoming even more important, especially with, I suppose, the new rule, the 50-22 might create a bit more space in the front line, or indeed that's what it's meant to do. So if that is successful in doing that, then skill execution is going to be really, really important. So buying yourself time and space to do that is going to be huge.
Thanks, Chris.
How's it going, Chris?
How are you going, Pat?
Good to see you. Listen, I know he came back at the end of last year, but just how great would it be for you guys to have someone like Joey Carbery, ready to go from the start of the season, and especially with all those kind of backline weapons that you guys have, it's great to kind of have him back and ready to go from the start.
Yeah, of course. Joey had such a tough time with it over the years, and for him to have got a few games under his belt in the second half of last season was really, really important, and it was never going to be easy for him to get back at 100%, and he was always picking up niggles, and to have him now get a full preseason under his belt would be great, because we need players like him. You need top quality 10s like him to direct you around the pitch at this level, and thankfully now, if we can keep him fit and get all of us back on the pitch, we've got a top quality squad. So it's exciting to play outside of him.
And the other guy I was just going to ask you about was he made his test debut in that game that you played in. You got your first Irish try in that. You must have been delighted with that as well. And but Gavin Cowans, just his potential, we already saw it last season. But do you think he's capable of kicking on again this season?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a group of them. There's a group of young players in Munster now who I suppose were involved in that whole test series, and Fineen, Craig, Shane, Gav, but Gav in particular was phenomenal, and we expect him to kick on, and we need him to kick on, having lost the likes of CJ in a Munster squad. So he's just a phenomenal athlete. He really is a top athlete, and he has a mindset that is equal to that. He's calm, he's competitive, he knows what it takes to stay at this level for as long as possible, and he's pretty determined as well. So I have no doubt that he'll kick on internationally, provincially, and hopefully he does for our sake. If we can keep him in the form he was last year, then that'd be great.
Perfect. Good luck with the season.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, guys, we've Connacht are ready to come on. If anyone has any more questions for Chris, or we can
I would like to ask a question, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Chris. It's Morgan from down in Johannesburg. There's been a lot of discussion here in South Africa about the different conditions that the South African sides are now going to face. Here, it's generally considered that the pitches are a bit harder, a bit faster. Has that also been something that has gone into your preparation for the new season against South African teams?
Yeah, look, it's been talked about amongst the players. It's not something we've hugely focused on. I think no matter what the conditions, the pitch conditions, the brand of rugby and the style of rugby that equates to winning doesn't change that much. You see it with all the top teams, international teams. You see it with South Africa against the Lions. The top teams play a similar enough brand of rugby at times, and I don't think that's hugely going to change, or certainly not in our mindset to change that, depending on the conditions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Morgan.
Okay, Chris, thanks very much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.